Okay. Traveling experiences. Yay! You get to hear me be angry. No, I'm just gonna be annoyed. But it's also just so ironic. It's funny. It was honestly traveling, flying to Korea and then back from Texas to Indiana. Um, where it was so ironic, all you could do was laugh or just do nothing at all. Okay, so leaving for Korea, we woke up at 4, I believe, to leave at 4:30, and we were in Indiana, and we had to drive 40 minutes to get to Fort Wayne. So we did that, and we get to the Fort Wayne airport, and we're waiting around for a little while, and we're trying to, because like it's not even officially opened until I think 7 or something, 6 or 7. So once that time rolls around, we're like waiting and trying to figure out when we need to board the plane and stuff, because our plane leaves at um, I don't know, when is it? It leaves at like 10, I think. So yeah, and we're not really hearing anything, and then all of a sudden, a lot of this is a blur to me now, but there starts being confusion about our plane seats, and we find out that there's not enough seats for all of us to be able to fit on the plane, even though our leader had it all squared away. There's something on my screen. Sorry. She had there's I'm still on my screen. What are you? Get off my screen. Ew. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Um, she was saying she had it all completely okayed, but then all of a sudden there was not enough seats for us. So then it looked like, okay, well maybe we'll be making it the trip in 2 flights, and some people are just gonna have to figure their way around the Korean airport on their own. Good luck, you know. So we were kind of banking on that, and she's trying not to freak out. And then all of a sudden, she goes up there to try to get at least some of us on the flight, and the woman says, sorry, actually, the doors to the plane are closed. You can't get on, even though we had like 20 minutes until the plane actually took off. The woman's like, it's too late. You can't get on your plane. And we were like, what? What? We need to go to Korea now. Um, so the thing is, and actually that plane was supposed to go to Texas, and then that plane was going to go from Texas to Korea, I believe. Yeah. Um, but what we found out was that somewhere along the line there was a mix-up in communication, and we were supposed to have left out of Chicago to go to Texas, and we were in Fort Wayne, Indiana, to go to Texas. Somehow or another, the tickets had gotten messed up. So we were sitting there, literally all just sitting in a circle on the airport ground floor, trying to figure out what do we do next. Everyone was remaining calm. No one was freaking out. You cannot afford to freak out in those sorts of situations. When things go wrong, you cannot panic. You have to stay calm. The end. I mean, obviously inside you're going like, ah! But you have to stay calm. The end. So eventually my friends were like, oh, we're never going to make it. We're not going to make it for a week. And I was like, no, we'll make it. It'll probably just be not today, and it'll probably be on another airline. And sure enough, Korean Air somehow magically had enough openings for us to go the next day. Unfortunately, Korean Air was way expensive, but it was our only option, and it was leaving out of Chicago. So, keep in mind, we've been up since 4 in the morning Indiana time. We drive back to where we originally started, another 40 minutes driving back, so that we can hop on another bus to go with another group of people, because they were taking another trip to Fiji. We hopped on the bus to drive 3 hours to Chicago. So we do that, and eventually we get to Chicago, and then we just kind of walk around Chicago for a while, spend the night there, get deep dish pizza, blah blah blah, spend the night, and then the next morning, we get to the airport at like 8 or something, 9, I don't know, Chicago O'Hare, and then eventually board our Korean Air flight and get to Korea. And let me tell you, the Korean Air was amazing. The stewardesses are gorgeous. If you're a guy, you have no worries. They're all beautiful. I'm sure they have like the most insane like interviews for the most gorgeous, wonderful girls. Very helpful, constantly bringing delicious drinks. pretty sure the wine is free. I would have taken them up on that, except that I was with a group that probably would not have really drunk, so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, but I didn't. Yeah, and there was screens on the back of the seats, which I've never had, even though I've been to France and Italy and Mexico. Canada doesn't count, and Hawaii. Never had a screen on the back of the seat until now, but it was wonderful, wonderful. It helped so much with that 13-hour flight, so that was great. Yeah, and traveling, in Korea, there weren't any real hiccups or anything. Although I do have to say that since we had to wait a day to actually get to Korea, that was another reason why the kids' camp was so insane. Everything was just crazy. Because that one day that we missed at the camp would have been extremely valuable, I think, to help us. So missing a day at a camp like that is not good. But we couldn't help it. It was not our fault. So things happen. Coming back. We knew we would not have Korean Air coming back, and we were all moping about that. We would have American Airlines. And American Airlines is what honestly screwed us up in the first place. I'm sorry. This is going to be one of those mean videos. Sorry, American Airlines. I'm sure sometimes you're great, but you sure weren't great on this trip. So, to come back from Korea, we go on American Airlines. And that flight was fine, from Korea to Texas. Then we get to Texas, and we're sitting around the airport, and there's like this delay. It's like an hour or two. Like our plane just kind of comes late. We don't know why. And then we get on our plane, and we're kind of eventually taxiing on the runway, and you can see around the clouds there's clouds and they're pretty gray. And then we get this announcement over the loudspeaker. Sorry guys, they've decided to have us wait a little while to let the storm pass. We don't want it to be too dangerous. So I'm like, okay, whatever. A little while later, he's like, okay guys, we're ready to take off, so you can buckle your seatbelts, get all in, blah blah blah, we'll take off. Well, a few minutes later, sorry guys, we're not going to be able to take off yet. We gotta wait some more. There's still a storm going on. Okay, fine. You can unbuckle your seatbelts and make phone calls and use your technology, blah blah blah. We'll tell you when to turn it off when we're ready to go again. Okay, cool, thanks. That happened like 4 times. We were sitting on the runway for 2 hours, and eventually got to the point where we hear this announcement. Sorry guys, I've got really bad news. We don't have enough gas to make it to Indiana. So we're going to ask you to go back in the terminal, and we'll let you know from there what's going to happen. My group is exhausted. We're sick of traveling. We've just gotten back from Korea. We're like, really? 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 Especially after our first experience. We're not angry. We're not awful people. We're handling it really well, but inside we're just like, please, somebody shoot somebody, please. Not one of us, but American Airlines. Yeah. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. That was actually a really bad thing to say. Sorry, don't ever do that. Anyway, but yeah, so we were in the airport, thankfully, for only like 10-15 minutes. But I met a girl in the bathroom there because there were several other flights that had to put their people back in the terminal since they ran out of gas or whatever. And she said, yeah, actually, we have to spend the night in the airport, and we have to take another flight that will actually land us 2 hours from where we wanted to be in the first place. Happy day! Yeah, thankfully, my group, there was a lot of people praying that we would be able to get on our plane and come back, and there was a lady in our group who actually was an alumni from the school that I went to, in America, Grace, and her dad was, I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he is very close to dying, if he has not already died, and she needed to get back, needed to, and she was holding herself together, but you could see the tears going down her face, we felt so bad, and she said because of what she was going through, there was a lot of people that were praying that she'd be able to get on that flight, and I'm pretty sure the prayers worked, because we were lucky, we were able to get on the flight, and then we left, half an hour later or so, but through the whole ordeal of traveling, because we also had a 7-hour layover in Incheon, in the airport in Korea. So all told, I kind of factored it out American time to make it make sense. We began our whole journey of coming back to the U.S. At 5 in the evening on Thursday, Indiana time, Eastern time, and we got back to our school, our final destination, at 4 in the morning Saturday. So we left at 5 in the evening on Thursday and got to our final destination at 4 in the morning on Saturday. So don't talk to me. about being sick of traveling. I know exactly what it's like. Um, yeah, no, I mean, by all means commiserate because it's awful, and I'm really glad to not be traveling for a little while. So yeah, the traveling itself was obnoxious, but I have to say Korean Air was amazing. If you ever have a chance to take it, take it. It's just wonderful. Oh, thank God for you people. American Airlines, I'm not going to say don't ever take American Airlines. We were on American Eagle. I don't know if it's both times or just for the shorter flight, and I'd never heard of that, and we all kind of knew it was kind of sketch from the beginning. No offense, I'm sorry. But just, be wary that things might not necessarily go completely the way you want them to go. But I'm pretty sure I've taken them before and they haven't been a problem, so it's just kind of hit and miss. But I'm pretty sure Korean Air is very dependable. Yeah. So that's my wonderful travel story. Another long video, sorry, but yeah, alright, cool. Well, see you later. Bye.